From impossible stunts to big explosions and, of course, the good guys chasing after the bad ones, is there anything as good as a well-made action flick? Whether it's the plot, the dialogue, or the acting, action movies know how to get it all right, but some of them obviously stand out from the crowd. Stay tuned as we take you through the best action movies of the last 15 years and show you just what makes them so special. Number 1. RRR 2022. No one could have guessed that a South Indian film would go on to become the highest-grossing action film in 2022. With the right balance of fantasy, drama, and history, this heartwarming story of two friends is bound to stick with the audience forever. Set in pre-independence India, RRR transcends the warriors of language and time and appeals to international audiences with a compelling story and mind-blowing acting. What really makes RRR stand out is the fact that the film is actually based on real-life events and pairs two freedom fighters in the history of India with one another, featuring maximalist action sequences, brilliant stunt work, unmatched pyrotechnics, stunning visuals, and of course plenty of musical numbers. This is a movie that you just can't miss. Number 2. 1917-2019. War movies are almost synonymous with action films at this point, so it's no surprise that the best action flick of 2021 was Sam Mendes' 1917, which takes place during the First World War. The film's plot was actually inspired by the director's own grandfather, who had been a part of the war. So this was Mendes' way of honoring him and all the other soldiers who were part of the lost generation. Combining great cinematography and an even greater storyline, the movie is immersive and follows two soldiers on a mission to save the world in a race against time. Known to feature some of the best camera work in the entire action genre, 1917 is a powerful film that's free from all kinds of gimmicks and is reasonably accurate in its depiction of the war, not to mention the brilliant soundtrack. With actors like Richard Madden and Benedict Cumberbatch stealing the show, 1917 is an action film for the ages. Number 3. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, 2014. The Planet of the Apes franchise is every evolutionist's nightmare come true, combining science fiction with tons of action and drama. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the sequel to Rise of the Planet of the Apes, a reboot of the franchise. The film revolves around Caesar, a genetically enhanced chimpanzee raised by William Rodman. But this time around, the chimp isn't here to play and is rising up against all humanity. Then, in the sequel, we see Caesar trying his best to make sure that the ape community sustains its reign and attempts to form a truce with the humans. But things aren't going to be as easy for him as they seem. And while it's true that the film is a great action flick, the true heart of it all lies in the story. Number 4. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, 2010. Nothing says action better than Scott Pilgrim, starring Michael Cera as the incredibly awkward Scott Pilgrim. This is a movie that combines action, comedy, and romance all in one go. The film features stunning visual effects, and sometimes you find yourself wondering whether all of them really were necessary for a film about a man battling it out with all of his girlfriend's exes one by one. With intense sword fights and an epic battle of the bands round, Scott Pilgrim is definitely one of the most memorable movies of the past 15 years. Best defined as a quintessential romantic comedy that features over-the-top, almost video game-like action sequences that only add to the comedy, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a pretty unique action film that reminds you of Sin City and Street Fighter while also making you laugh till you can't breathe. Number 5. The Hunger Games, 2012. The Hunger Games has practically defined the dystopian fiction genre, inspiring tons of similar franchises. But of course, none of them comes quite close to the original, starring Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson in the lead. The Hunger Games is about a future world where communities are divided into districts where wealth inequality prevails. Every year, 2 tributes from all the 12 districts participate in the Hunger Games, where only one can emerge as the victor, bringing glory back to their district. However, things take a turn when the rebellious Katniss Everdeen steps into the arena. While the action sequences in the film are relatively less graphic than one would expect, it is a pretty great action movie to watch with the whole family. The film is followed by 3 sequels, and it's safe to say that the visuals and action sequences only get better with time. Number 6. Snowpiercer. Bong Joon-ho of Parasite fame has won international acclaim for his exceptional filmmaking. His complex storytelling, effortless world, and character building made Parasite such a hit. And if you loved that film, wait till you watch Snowpiercer. Rarely ever do action films also work as social commentaries, but with Snowpiercer, Joon-ho has struck the perfect balance. The film takes place in a post-apocalyptic futuristic world inside an insanely long train that's carrying the last survivors of the human race in a loop across the Earth that's now become uninhabitable. The passengers, however, are segregated according to their class and financial status, and that is what leads to contention. And while this film might not feature loud explosions and car chases, the way the visuals make the train walls seem more and more claustrophobic as the story goes on and battles ensue is a treat to watch for all action enthusiasts. Number 7. Edge of Tomorrow, 2014. Tom Cruise has practically gone on to define the genre of action films. From Mission Impossible to Top Gun, the actor has proven just how well he can don every role, and Edge of Tomorrow is no different. Not just Cruise, but the film also stars big names like Emily Emily Blunt and Bill Paxton. That, combined with the film's seamless blend of action and science fiction, makes it one of the greatest films of all time. Set in a future where an alien race has taken over Europe, the film revolves around Major William Cage, who has to work against a time loop and figure out a way to take down the invaders. The film features extremely traditional action scenes, and we're saying that in the best way possible. Crews versus aliens, what's not to be excited about? Number 8, Atomic Blonde, 2017. For anyone who thinks that action is a man's genre, Charlize Theron has gone on to prove just how wrong that is. Atomic Blonde, directed by stuntman-turned-director David Leitch, is one of the greatest action flicks of all time. Set in the Cold War, the film shows Theron taking on the role of Lorraine Brown, a dedicated MI6 agent who carries out super-secret missions on a daily basis in her super-high stilettos. With her cold and collected exterior, Lorraine is given the responsibility of recovering a piece of stolen microfilm. Taking inspiration from the ages-old noir style of films, Atomic Blonde is the quintessential spy film featuring high-intensity espionage sequences and a great soundtrack to complement all the times Theron's character is able to outsmart her opponents. Known to be a stylistic action film with its costumes, visuals, and cinematography, Atomic Blonde is entertaining enough to keep you on the edge of your seat till the end. Number 9, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, 2015. Another Tom Cruise movie on the list is Rogue Nation. Of course, a Mission Impossible film had to make its way onto this list. This one is the 5th film in the franchise and shows Ethan Hunt, played by Cruise, as he and his crew get themselves in deep trouble with the dissolution of the Impossible Missions Force. On the run from a terrorist organization called the Central Intelligence Agency, Ethan and his team take on the responsibility of wiping them out to protect the rest of the world. Rogue Nation was actually the film that established Cruise as a hard-hitting action man, with action sequences that show him involved in intense car chases and rough physical fights. And of course, who can ever forget the scene where he hangs onto the side of an airplane high up in the air? A true action film by all intents and purposes. And finally, number 10, John Wick, 2014. With John Wick, Keanu Reeves has reached the epitome of an action film star. The film combines all the elements of a successful action thriller and makes us fall in love with Wick, a retired hitman who goes back to his old ways of life after a group of gangsters decides to mess with him. Wick is the perfect anti-hero who is out for revenge, no matter what it takes out of him. From the costumes to the camera work, Reeves does complete justice to the character and seamlessly slips into the action sequences. Not to mention his great comedic timing that adds another layer to Wick. Directed by David Leitch and Chad Stahelski, the film nails its action sequences and explores plenty of ways in which Wick takes revenge on the people who do him wrong. And that's a wrap for this video. Have you already seen any of these shows? And if so, which one? Let us know in the comments below. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.